Going to do a portfolio website, kind of this website. Here is the live version of this website, which is on my GitHub account, and here is the desktop version, which I just did, and also I just uploaded this to the GitHub account to like to show. And so I make a GitHub repo every day of the kind of work that I do for the kind of tutorials, and I have a separate account for my work, so that's a different thing. Okay, now what this is a kind of very clean and simple portfolio website that you can make for you, or maybe for someone, or maybe just for your portfolio. And kind of having this layout is not easy when you are a beginner, but I will make it very easy for you. This has got a header. This is kind of few things are happening here. A kind of logo. Here I'm using the text. You can use an image also, no problem. Image, maybe a zip works. Then here are some links for like to navigate, and here is a button to hire me. It has a kind of effect, and then here is your profile, which you can show like maybe your image or something like that. And it has a kind of rotation, and here is a kind of pin that is added effect. Some it gives some different feel, and it rotates when I hover on it. And here is the button. When I hover on this, it's color change. That's a good thing as well. And here are some portfolio images. They rotate like 360 degrees. I am like giving it a very short time. I can change the duration, like make it subtle smooth, like within a second maybe. Like, I will go to my CSS file, and on my box rotate, I should have this thing over here, but I think that is wasting your time maybe. But I should show you. But okay, let's leave that. I will take long time to maybe find that out. Okay, I will not do that. Okay, so what I have done, I have created this HTML file to work on today on this website. We are creating this, and here is what I have up till this point. These are the things that are ready. I mean, I have prepared this, and I will be making this whole website with you. So I will show you what I did. So I created this HTML bare bones, just the HTML file and a CSS file. So inside the HTML, I linked my CSS file, the style file, and then the font awesome. And after this, I have this header. Header is a given element by the HTML, so I have given it a class of header itself. And then inside it, I have an h1 with an ID of logo. And here is the nav, like kind of links, and I have given them a class as well, n links. And hash means they go nowhere. Okay, and then I have one more kind of thing. This header has three things. One is the logo, second is those links, and the third is that button. So now I need to style this header. If I reload, if I go to my CSS file, what I have imported the fonts from Google Fonts. You should know. Okay, you have to use the Google Fonts. So here are the Google Fonts. I am using this Roboto font, and it's a kind of if I go back to my code file, I have imported this, and I have also added to my body, to the whole body, this font should be used. I'm using just one font. And this asterisk means remove all the padding and the margin that is given by the browser by default. All the browsers, they have some default margin and padding. So I am removing that. I am resetting those to the 0 so that they do not interrupt our design style. And then the body has a width of 100. VW means view width. It could be percent also. And then it has a height that is auto, means it should decide itself. And then the font family, that is understood. Now here is the header that we have to style. It has a width that is 100%. VW means view width. Height, I am giving it a very short height of 70 pixels. Then what I need to do, I need to give it a background also. Background, I will make it white, but instead of writing white, I can write its code, because you should know. Even if you don't know, just okay, do you want to make it kind of different color, just write any color, then hover on this, then change to any color you want. I will make it white. Now it has shown me the RGB code, that is 255255. So things should be easy for you. And then what I need, it has got the background. And now I want to align those things like across the page. So what I have to use, I have to use the flex. Why it's displaying like this? Because I have not put the those commas here. Okay, now if I do it like, what is that, display flex, you will see something different. Yes, but we want more, and what we will do, we will throw things across the screen, that is space between. If I use this now, things will look different, but I will rather use space around because I do not want to throw these things to the extreme edges. Now you see there is some difference. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to align these things in the center. They are like, this is here, this is top, we don't like that. So we have another property from the flexbox, that is align items, and I will use center. This will throw things to the center of that 70 pixel high header. Okay, this thing is done. Now need to do we need to do one thing, that is those links are like touching each other, we want to space them out. So they have a class that is nlinks, 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 but I will give it some limited style. What I want to do, I want to remove that underline, that is text decoration, and I will make it none. Guys, try to make sense, okay? If I'm rushing, you do not have to rush. If I make a video of 2 hours, you are obviously not going to spend that much time, so I have to make it like smooth and quick. But you can ask me questions because I have been doing this thing for very long and I know how things work. If you ask me something, I will make it easy for you. Okay, now those links need to be spaced out, but I will do one thing. Whatever link that we have inside header, whatever is an a tag, the link should have a padding. We will throw them away from each other about 30 pixels. Let's see how that works. They are thrown away, not much. And also I want to make them, their color should be black. I and they should be capitalized, that is text transform, and uppercase will make them up like this, but they will be large. We want to make them small, then we have to use the font size. Everything is very easy in CSS. All you have to do is you have to try the thing. So 0.8 ems, you could write 14 pixels, 16 pixels. Let me try that if this is confusing for you. If I make it 12 pixels, you see there is subtle difference, but I will use ems because I am used to using this, and that's looking fine. Now we need to style that button. The name of the button should be, I assume, that is higher. Now we need to style this button. This is higher. It should have a width of around maybe 90 pixels. It should have a height. Do not make it very high, maybe 40 pixels. Then we want to make this rounded, this kind of button. So border radius should be around 4 pixels. If I reload it now, will there be some difference? Nothing, because we have not given it any background or any border. So if I give it a border of 1 pixel, 1 pixel solid black, I'm using the code, you could write just the black, and you see something is happening, but they are not aligned nicely. What we have to do now, we can use the same thing, that is inside this we can use display flex and justify content space around. I mean, flex is something that you can use just anywhere, and also align the items in the center. If I reload it now, you will see the difference, but I think that font is very large. So inside higher, we have this p class. So inside higher, whatever is a p, its font size should be smaller, maybe around 0.8 ems. You could write 14 pixels, 12 pixels, completely up to you. Maybe I will make it 9, maybe. I think that makes sense. And that icon is not showing up. What is the name of the icon? We want to use the rocket is not working. So where I'm using this font from, I'm using this from the font awesome. So but I have not, my internet is not that very fast, so it will take time to upload. I will try to make it up, this icon. Maybe I will use some different icon. It could be FAS also, means font awesome simple. If I reload it now, it has worked, and that's fine. Also, if you want to space them out, I could give them some margin. And also now we want to give some this kind of style, that is shade. This has a kind of shade that you cannot see, but if I will do one thing, I will go to my main page that I have already done. So the header, where is my header? I will make its background not blue but some default color. Okay, why are you not loading? This is the live version. No, I will. Okay, now you see that is the effect that we are looking for. I will re-enable it, and now to the header we want to give this drop shade, so that is box shadow, and I will use maybe 3 pixels on the x-axis, 3 pixels on the y-axis, and maybe a 6 pixels blur. Then the color of the this thing should be like this, RGBA. Okay, 0 comma 0 comma 0 comma 0.1. You can change it later on by hovering on this. I will go to here, and you see this thing is applied to those icons. We do not have to do this. I'm applying individually to those text icon, text items. That's not what we want. If I reload it now, I applied it to the header, and you see this thing is making some sense. We want to make it blue. Yes, we can do that also. So background kind of bluish. I will look for the code that I have already used because that looks fine. So that is 87172. I will just copy it instead of wasting time on guessing the color and those things. So it should be like, if I reload it now, the color will be bluish, but I want to change the text color to white. So I can do one thing over here. Inside header, all items color should be white, kind of off white. So I will use FA, but it will not change everything. The links will need to be changed. So here I have given them a color. So I will reset over here, FA, and if I reload it now, they too have changed. Now this thing needs a background. This higher button needs a background. Its background should be white, kind of off white. So FA, yes, and its color of the text inside this should be that bluish color that we just used. I hope I have copied this value. Okay, what is this thing? So it is higher, and the color of things inside this should be this. And also when I hover on this higher button, so dot higher and then HIRE higher, no, hover. When I hover on the higher, its background color should become how about none, or maybe that bluish color. Yes, and color of the things should become white because it's against. I hope that's making sense to you, but I want to remove this border. Have I given it a border? That should be removed here, but it should be given here. When I hover, its border should become 1 pixel solid, that kind of FA. If I reload it now, yes, you see the effect is already showing. It's making some sense. Now what we need to do, the header is done, we need to create the main section, and I will go to my HTML file. Inside my HTML file, underneath header is done. Now I need to create the main section. I will give it a class of main itself, main, and inside this first thing is the intro, that kind of the image and things happening. So inside that, what we need first, we need to use, okay, let's create one more thing, that is the about me, one more ID. You will see why I'm creating another one, because we need to do some magic. And inside this I need an img first. So inside img folder I will use, I think I have one image that is 20 febd.png. I assume this image exists with me. Always write something inside the alt. And now underneath this I need to have an h4 tag. Maybe it should be maybe my name. Hi, I am. You could write just your name, and the underneath this I need to put my skills, so I will put like another div with the skills, and inside this I need to have those icons of WordPress and all those things. So it should be like class FAB means phone awesome brands space far dash. First thing is WordPress. I assume that is, I should look for the code of this thing. WordPress simple. I mean, there is no harm in looking up the things, okay? And the second thing is I'm using, that is HTML5. Yes, that is there. Then I need to use CSS3. Then I will use JS, JavaScript. Then I will use PHP. These are the skills that I know. I know Unity also, but this will not allow me to show that. And what is the other thing that I should be displaying here? That is a React. And one more thing, maybe Node. I think I have not the Node, but the Wix. Okay, if I, maybe I should reload it now. The page should look like something like this. The image is not loaded, so it's displaying image. That's the benefit of using that thing, that alt tag. So I will go back to my this thing, my folder, and what image I'm using probably I was using this fab20a. Fab20a, it's feb20a. Now it should load now. That is working. Now we need to style the main section. Main section will not have the 100% width because we want to make it kind of narrower. Okay, now we need to style the main first. It should have a width. How about 88? VW means view width 88%, and its height should be automatic. You guess that, because we do not want to do that much work. Okay, that makes sense. Also, one thing, we want to put things in the center, so we have to give it some margin, maybe 4% at the top and bottom, and auto on the left and right. That makes the difference. That may change everything. Auto means use whatever space. Okay, now this thing is centered, but I will need to do one thing. I can go on and style this this guy, this what is the name of this thing? This is intro. Yes, intro. Okay, dot intr intro should have a background, maybe FFF white, and its width should be maybe 300 pixels. It should have a height of maybe 480 pixels, and it should have a padding. Yeah, why not? Maybe 4 pixels on each side. Should it have a border radius, kind of rounded? Maybe. How about 4 pixels? And it should have a shadow. Yes, that's very important. Box shadow, 3 pixels, 3 pixels, maybe 8 pixels. Blur, then RGBA. I will use this value. Now I assume this is done, maybe kind of. And also I will display it as flex because we want to give it some styling. Okay, and justify items. No, before that we have to give the direction, and we have to make it column. So flex direction should be column, means up and down, and I think that should make sense. It is kind of making, but it is pretty large. I do not like this thing. We will make it around 320 pixels, maybe a bit larger, maybe around 360 pixels or 340. 390. I hope 400 is okay, because we will add some kind of. Okay, now if I do one thing, justify content space between, let's see if this throws things away or not. This has not, because these are not different components inside this flex. Okay, now I need to do one thing. Whatever inside this intro, whatever is an h4 should have a margin at the top of around 4%, no 2%. Let's see if that makes some sense or not. Yes. And also uh, that is skills, skis skills should have a margin at the top. 2% is fine. That's not the right way to write it. Margin at the top around 2%. If I reload it now, and maybe I will increase it to 4%. And now I need to space them out. So inside the skills, whatever is an I that needs margin to the right around 18 pixels. Let's see if this works or not. And it has worked. We will increase this margin at the top, maybe around 6%, and that has spaced it out nicely, and there is making sense. Now I think the width is, we can further reduce this width to maybe 390 pixels. That's making sense. Now I need to create that button at the bottom, and I have already created a button, and its name is higher. So I can reuse this icon inside my intro, and I will put this underneath. It should be inside intro but not about me, so it should be here. If I reload it now, the button will look somewhat inside. Okay, now I need to give it one more class because I want to retain the earlier style, but I want to add more style. So it should be higher to, it should have a width of around 300 pixels and a height of around 40 pixels. Padding now, border radius around 4 pixels, and its background is okay, but we need to give it box shadow. 3 pixel, 3 pixel, 8 pixel, no, 6 pixels, GBA. Okay, and if I reload it now, it is making some sense, but I need to give it some margin at the top. Margin at the top around 6%. Still not much. But we need to give it height. The height is very small. Why? Why it has such a small height? That is not what we want. We want to make it larger. Maybe if I make it 80. No, it is not getting the styling. There is some problem, and I assume this problem is coming from here, maybe. uh, that is inside intro but not about me. If I close this div is closed, and now this is the, and I think this is fine. But why it is not getting the style, why it is not getting large? Higher 2 is the class. Higher 2, yes. Height, okay, let's give it some padding around 6 pixels. That's making the difference, but we do not want padding on all the sides, but maybe on the padding at the top around 12 pixels, and I will repeat this for the bottom as well. Okay, and I think that's doing something, but I do not like this color. We have to give it some background color. Its background color should be pure white. That's FFF. Let's reload it now. If yes, that's making some sense, but the message inside is, this button is hire me, send me, let's say, message. Then it is not a rocket, but it's an envelope. Open. Why? Maybe it is found awesome regular. Why? OPN open. Yes, that's making sense. Now it still has some problem. I assume I need to increase its width. Its width is 300 right now. If I increase it to 310, I think this is I need to do one more thing. Intro. It align items in the center. If I do this, let's see if it do the magic or not. Yes, things are centered now, but I think I should. This higher to button should have bit larger gap at the top, and that is making sense. Right now this website is not very busy, so you are seeing it kind of this thing. And also, if I do you want to put that pin right now? Okay, let's do that later on. First we need to create that gallery, because that's a kind of a lot of work. So it is still inside the main. Now we need to create that gallery kind of section to hold all the images. Inside this I need to have now this those box. This box should have like two things. First is the img image, and the source is inside img folder. Okay, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. It's img folder, and the name is, I think it's news2.png. There was little interruption. Okay, and insert alt, it should be image. Now underneath this I need to have that button, so it can have a class of by maybe. So I can write some value, maybe very small, and then download it. Okay, that makes sense. Now I need to repeat this thing like maybe 3 times. 2, 3, and it's inside the gallery. Now I need to style the button first. So this button, not the box, should have a width maybe 300 pixels, and also we are going to use the flex here, and the flex direction should be column. Column. Also the name of button is dot by, so it should have a width of kind of maybe 300 pixels. I already have styled the button. Why don't we use that? So it's high to, but it will need a border. Border should be 1 pixel solid, kind of subtle color. I do not want to give it any shadow. Let's reload it now. It's very huge. We do not want that. I'll remove those padding top, padding bottom, and also make it 60. Still very large. I will make it 40 maybe. Margin top. Okay. That's making sense, but the font size is very small, so I will increase the font size. Font size maybe 1.1, 1.1 m, and I want to make them capitalized maybe, so it's uppercase. That's very large. I will make it maybe 0.8 m's. And also I want to space it out just like I did in the earlier website, so it's letter spacing. Just 1 pixel should be enough. That gives it some space, but the margin at the top is very huge. I will make it maybe 12. Okay, now all of them should have this style. What I will do, buying has this, box has this. Now I need to style the gallery. Gallery. Display grid and display grid template columns. I will use a repeat function, repeat it 3 times and make it one fraction each. Also, I may need to style the body, but I will do that later on, because if I reload it now, there is problem. Why? Because this thing is not coming from here, so you have to go to the body part here. So I will use the flex here, display flex grid template columns. Now here is the thing that you have to use: one fraction for the intro and two fractions for the content, that is the gallery. If I reload it now, no, because that is going to the header as well. We do not have to use it here, we have to give it to the main. Yes, why it's not happening? Have I removed it from the body? What is display flex? Why? There is no reason to display the flex. So the main should have this thing, display grid. Okay, now it should work. Yes, that has worked, but third button is not working. Why? I think they have a different class, maybe. Box, have they got the same class? Okay, here is the problem. I have not used it like this, so I will remove these because they are not how I want. Like, okay, now I need to duplicate the whole this thing. So 2, 3. If I reload it now, yes, they are getting some style, but they need some spacing. So it should be inside the gallery, inside my gallery. Yes, they need some column gaps, column gap, maybe 2%, and that's spacing them out. I will increase it to 4%. Okay, and but that's not giving it the full thing. I will decrease the width from 300 to something, maybe 280. I need to, no, 280 is okay. I need to reduce the size of the button as well, so it should be 280 as well. That's making sense. Okay, and now I can increase the gap in the gallery to maybe 6. Okay, instead of increasing this gap, I will decrease the margin on the left side. So margin from the left should be -4%, and that's looking okay. If I add more images, duplicate them, 1 2 3, so it becomes 6 now, it becomes 9 now. How they will display, because I have given them this thing, this in the main, this will remain like this and this will like this. Okay, I need to give them some margin at the bottom to the box, so they are not touching each other. So margin at the bottom, how about 12%, and there is a gap that you can see. Now I can change the name of those images. there is just one image is repeating, so it can be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now there are different images, but this image is not okay, so I will use 11 here. I think that image doesn't exist here, so I will use some earlier image, maybe 3 here and 2 here. That's okay. Now this thing is done. Now I need to achieve that rotation. So for the rotation, like it's a box, when I hover on the box, when I hover on this, it should rotate, not like this. It should rotate, so it's ROTAT, rotate 360 degrees, means full round DEG. Then write this thing underneath transition. It should happen within half second. Then write all. Then no, it should be all first. How is this happening? 0.5s. Let's try that if that works or not. Okay, but the time is very I have to reduce it, maybe 0.1, and that's making sense. Now I can add that pin over here. So inside my this thing, I will go inside my intro. No, not within the intro. Closer to the intro, I will add this pin. So here is my intro section. Above the gallery, I will add this pin. So it's img. I will give it a class of pin, and within my img folder, I have this pin.png. I will give it a name as well, that is pin. Also, this image is very huge, so I will make it its width to maybe 30 pixels, and I can now style it and see if it is loaded or not. This has created some problem because this is a part of this grid, because this is third element. We do not want that, so I need to throw it out of the thing, but it will become a part of this thing. Okay, I will add this. I will add one more class over here to the intro. I hope the audio is okay. Not okay. Okay, let's create one more class above the intro. Intro sec. So I need to end it here, and then I can add the img.pin, img/pin.png pin, and then its width should be very small, maybe around 30 pixels. Now if I reload it, it is okay. Now we have to give it position relative, not absolute. If I give it absolute, it will create problems. So dot pen needs position relative. Yes, from the top it should be like, how about 18%? Let's try that. If I try 18%, it's gone down, so I have to maybe make negative values. Yes, and it should be larger, maybe 28. I still need to increase this. How about 38%? I think I will need to make it maybe 50. Okay, that's okay. Now I need to give the values from the left. How about 50%? I further need to increase it, maybe 70%, that has gone away. How about 66 or 68? I think that's okay. Now I can style it, but I need to style this button as well. The color should be changed when I hover on this. So the name of this button is higher to. So this higher to, when I hover on this higher to, HOV or hover, its background should become that RGBA blue color. This is the color, and also the text color should become that whitish, this kind of thing. That's okay. Now when I hover on this whole thing, the whole thing's name is, okay, I think this is within the intro or intro sec. Okay, when I hover on this intro sec, just the intro, it should rotate -5 degrees, means to the left, DEG. Also add that transition of all, and it should happen within 1 second because we want to make it smooth. Okay, but why it is like permanent? It should happen on hover, kind of that. Also, I think I need to give this to the introsec because that is the parent of all these things. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, now when I hover on the pin, it should rotate as well. So dot pin. I will not make this website responsive because that will take kind of time, and I want to make it short, but with the help of media queries I can make it very easily, and with the help of CSS grid as well, that is rather easy. And now it should rotate. How about, yeah, 10 degrees. 10 is fine. And same thing again, that is transition, it should happen all, yeah, maybe 1 sec is okay. And if I hover individually on the pin, it rotates as well. A very subtle kind of move, not very much. You can make it maybe 2 degrees if 5 is looking very big. Okay, now you see there is a rotation and these are rotating as well. And you are seeing this website is ready, like kind of a kind of both fully website, but this website has got the footer as well. That's another work. I hope you are not minding the time that I'm taking. So I will add the footer. We are done with the main section, so we'll create the footer. We'll give it a class of footer as well. Inside the footer, I need to create two sections. First is the F1. No, not like that. F1, and another is F2. I will create the things inside the F2 first. So first it has an I thing, kind of icon class for dash phone. And no, the second thing is a p tag with the class of copy, and it should have that copyright mark, so it's and copy copy. It will suggest you, okay, and its name should be miniweb or anything that you like, and the year. And then I need to create that icon. When I click on that icon, the website should go to the top. So how we do that? It's like create an a tag, a name equals top, then close this. Now come to the bottom here, create an a tag, just press the a and press enter. Now inside this, put this hash top. Inside this you can write or put an icon or button or anything. Go to top of page. If I reload it now, this is the page that we are working on. Go to the top of page and it takes you to the top. Well, now we need to style the footer. I need to create the F1 as well. Inside the F1 I have a lot of things going on, so maybe first section we can create line 1. In this, inside this thing I will have like an S3 tag first, so maybe services, and then I have those a links, and I will give them the class of n links. They should go nowhere. Things are easy, they're not tough. So first thing I can write like maybe website design and then app duplicated further game. Then I can write like maybe graphic design. If you're a designer, then you obviously do that. TSIG, and that's okay. And further thing that could be maybe what can be that? Print. Yeah, and then you need to create one more thing, that is line 2, another div dot line 2. Inside this I need to have those things repeated again, nlinks and links. They should go nowhere. And the first thing, this section, again we have to create this thing. This is kind of contact, so here it should be like team um, services, yeah, just anything, and maybe privacy, maybe rates, and what else, um, yeah, maybe about us. That makes sense. Now we need to create further thing, that is line 3. Inside this I will have those icons, social icons, so they are like I class. Again, class fab means more awesome brands, for dash maybe Twitter first, Twitter, then maybe this WhatsApp, then maybe Instagram, Insta grm, Insta grm. That's making sense. Okay, now I think this is enough, or maybe I can add Facebook, or maybe I think this is enough. What else is left? That makes sense. Now this thing is done. Footer is done as well. Now I need to style the footer. First, this footer should have a width, and that is 100%. VW means V width. It should have a height. Let's give it auto. It should have some margin at the top, so it's not touching the things like those gallery images, maybe around 12%. It should have a border at the top, 1 pixel, solid, maybe subtle whitish, or maybe we could use black also. Now if I reload it now, there will be some change, yes, but the footer is not getting these things. Okay, I hope. If I reload it now, where are those things gone? Those I links, yes. Now I need to style those things. First thing first, first is the F1. It need to be displayed as flex, and justify content space around. Let's see if works or not. Yes, that has made something. Now I need to style those individually, those line 1, line 2, line 3. So I will try to do this like line 1 comma dot line 2 comma dot line 3, and let's try to give them individual style. So display flex again, and flex direction, this should be column. If I reload it now, let's see if it makes difference or not. Yes, but line 3 should not be displayed like this, so we will do it up to here. Okay, now they need some kind of spacing. So how is that coming here? I think F1 can have a height. How about 300 pixels. Then we can do this justify content space between. Let's see how it works, and that's working fine. Also we can do this thing inside f1 whatever is an a tag, its color should be black, its font should be a bit smaller, it's firecrackers, so 8 ems, and that's looking fine. Now I need to style this line 3 dot line 3 inside it, whatever is an I tag, its padding should be, no, padding to the right we could do, or we could just write the padding maybe 30 pixels, and that's looking fine. Now the header should have some padding at the top because this content is touching the line, so padding at top maybe 2%, and that's looking fine. Now I need to style the footer at the bottom, that is f2 dot f2, same thing again, display flex, justify content space around maybe, and align items in the center. If I reload it now, things will be looking fine, but it needs some padding at the margin at the top, so margin top maybe around 4%, so it's not touching things at the top. And also this needs some padding at the bottom, not margin, but we will give it some padding because we want to give some breathing space. Padding bottom maybe around 4% or 2%. 2% could be fine. I think this 2 is fine. I will make it 2% here and 6% over here, so it has larger space. Maybe we can give it some border at the top. I hope this works. 1 pixel solid black, and that's working. Now we need to give that padding again, padding at the top around 2%, and that's looking fine, but that icon has not displayed. When we need to change this icon to something for the contact, maybe it's not the phone. Let's try FAS. That's fine. Do we want to rotate it? Yes. Let's try how to rotate it. So it's inside f2, whatever is an I class. So inside f2 whatever is an I, it should be rotated. Can we try the rotate, just the rotate? How about 90 degrees? No. There has not. You have to use DG also. I am sorry for the audio. Yes, that's fine. Now the website is done. If I click on this, it takes you to the top and all those effects are happening. This is also happening. I could make it further beautiful, but the video will become very long, so I will keep it short. So if it was helpful, do let me know in the comments. Thank you. Have a great day.